Hey YouTubers and space detectives, I've got three things to show you today. This is going to be a real quick one, and they're all in these two pans here which I've got together. This is Sol 3405, so this is the latest, pretty much the latest set of images from the Curiosity Rover, and these are really cool. I've got at least one mechanical object here. The other thing may also be mechanical, and the other thing that's a bit like a statue. Now, first of all, I'm going to show you the clips I've taken. There's this thing here. Right, now this is a bit of a way off from the rover, so it's not very clear, but it looks like a statue with two dark eyes and a long nose here. I'll show you with the magnifier. There's an eye socket there, long bridge to the nose, and a funny shaped head. Looks like it's broken. Not very clear, it's a bit of a long way off. Then we have this thing, right? Now that thing I just showed you is up here, by the way, just here, so you can check this out. I was so excited by this thing, I had to do this video today. I was going to wait another couple of days maybe, but I was like, what the hell is this? This is absolutely mind-boggling, and I don't know what it is, but it's definitely not just a rock. We have this weird kind of piece in front here. We've got a rock here. We've got a sort of shard of material here, which looks like rock, but then we have this thing behind it, which is a kind of piece of wreckage of some sort. It looks like it's metallic, right? Now it's been colorized slightly, but then we have this object hanging off the front, and it has hinges on it, right? This is absolutely mind-boggling. We've got these two arms coming down. There's one arm here, and another arm behind it with hinges. It's got a hinge here and a hinge here. And then it has this weird little body and what looks like a sort of head here, right? Now, I'm not saying this is an animal, but what it looks like is some kind of mechanical object that's all kind of corroded and broken and dilapidated. It could be, there's probably thousands of years old. It may have been buried for a long time. This may have been covered in sand, who knows. Then there was this one. Now this one is just here. Just here. It's quite small. All right. And it looks like a figure sitting with a mechanical arm holding an object here. Now, it's a bit hard to get your head around this, and I stared at this for ages trying to work out what I'm looking at, and I don't fully understand this because it looks like a kind of fossilized creature or mineralized creature, but with a mechanical arm here with a hinge there. So this is like a mechanical thing and maybe related to this thing over here, right? Because that's also mechanical. And in this one, you can actually see, if you're getting close, it's got a head there with a little face on it, with two eyes and a nose and a mouth. This is a shoulder here, I think. And this thing here is like a pin going through a joint here. This is, I think, metallic. And there's like an arm sticking out here with a point to it, but what seems to be a hand here with fingers. And then there's this bit at the bottom which kind of looks weird as well, which comes across and joins to this thing. And there's also something joined here on the corner here, right corner. Very, very strange indeed. And there's some really weird stuff in this area. Now, this is really close to that previous video I did showing the internal rooms, right? We're literally only probably 20, 30 feet away from that, looking the other way, all right? So we're really close to that area where all those rooms were that I showed in my previous video, but this is looking away from there. Those rooms would be sort of behind us, right? Because we can see part of the area where those rooms were would be here, actually. If you compare it to this image, this is further up the side of the mountain, and that room I showed you in the previous video would be approximately here, off camera, right? So the cameras looked round to the left of where we were, and this area is probably behind us over here, behind the rover. okay, looking the other way. This one here. They're both masked right, but the camera's moved round. Okay, so this is insane. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly show you these in here because it's really hard to get across what these are. I'll show you this head first because that was quite easy to work out. You can see the head shape there in the clip, raw clip. And then I've got the enhanced clip here. We've got a nose, an eye socket, another very dark eye socket there. There's the end of the nose. There's a mouth here. And there's the cheek and the chin. Looks a bit broken up. The chin there is kind of split. Back of the head comes up. Rather strange shape there. It's got some weird details here and here. Okay. So it's a bit weird, but it's probably eroded and broken. This was probably larger at the back at some point. Who knows? So that was weird. Okay. But one of hundreds of similar heads that I've found in the area. Now this is a burial area, as I've shown before in the previous video and other ones. So there are lots of weird things on the ground which were part of these burials. Often they use these kind of heads to cover up the little burial holes or little chambers. Now in my previous video I showed you some little square kind of chambers, okay? And this is what I think they were kind of like. They were a bit like this, where they would have a squarish hole, the burial would be inside, and there'd be a sort of cylindrical looking kind of slab like this, which you would roll in front of it, okay? The burial would be inside, and often these slabs, as I've shown before, would have some kind of weird face on them carved, all right? Either of a person or something, okay? And that's what I've shown before, okay? So I just thought I'd show you this image because this really kind of explains what those chambers were in the previous video, which I've shown a few times now, okay? So that was that. First of all, we'll look at this one because it's slightly less complex. This is very, very strange. So what I think we've got here is a head. There's the chin, eye, little nose, and a little mouth there. We've got some weird detail up here. It comes around like that. And this, I think, is an arm here, which is jointed. You can see a joint here and a pin, like a bolt or something. And we've got jointed parts here, and it comes to here like that, right? And there's overlapping details here. So this is mechanical, right? Like that. And then we have possible finger detail here. So it may be joined to that, right? And a sort of hand, maybe. This may be the other one on the other side here. It's holding an object like this, which is in a funny shape. And then we have a sort of body here and a join there, which this may be a leg here at the bottom, I don't know. But we've got some weird overlapping details here. And it's very complex and I don't really understand what we're looking at, but we've got an object here as well, which is joined on the end with a part to it here. Right, this could be a figurine or something. This is super weird and it's absolutely mind-boggling. I'm really struggling to work out what this is, but it seems to represent some kind of mechanical creature, right? So this is the shoulder here, and an arm there, and a head, and a weird body, and this is kind of joined up to this, but there's some little detail in there. It's highly complex. There's like a little thing inside that there. A lot of this stuff is kind of all jointed. It's really weird and I don't really understand it. So perhaps some of you could help me with that. I would advise, if you're going to look at this, go to the Gigapan, take a clip of this yourself, right? Take a clip, take a rectangular clip of that and add a load of brightness and contrast and see what you could drag out. You could see all those details there. You can see that arm, you can see that pin or bolt there. with a kind of arm coming across and a weird sort of leg configuration going on there, whatever that is, and a head there with a crest on the top there, right? Like a little ape or something. It's really weird. And then there's this thing, right? So we go to this because this other thing is absolutely insane, mainly because it's clearly mechanical, right? We've got the main shape of it here. This is rectangular, this part here. We've got something coming over there and like a little head inside the corner there with an eye and a little face there. And this looks like a little arm coming over there, right? When I get rid of that, you can see it, right? Just there. So it's like a little person sat inside it. That's kind of what it looks like. It may not be. And then we got this part here, come to here. This part goes over that, overlapping, and then comes up to here. It's like almost like material, overlapping material. We've got some detail here. This comes to here. And then we've got an object in here, which could be something interesting. Like, I don't know what it is. I can't really work out what it is. It may be broken or eroded away, but there's something in there underneath this wrapped or overlapping material here, right? We've got material coming under and over it, kind of wrapped. And then we've got this weird thing sticking up here, which I don't really understand. Just kind of joined to the back. This thing is in front, this thing here, right? That may be part of it, who knows? But then the really interesting bit, we've got another corroded thing behind it there, which may also be part of it, right? But the really cool thing is this. This is the actual mechanical section or part of it. We've got an arm here, a mechanical arm with a pin just there. And there's another mechanical arm there, it seems, behind it. Then we got a sort of head. I think the actual, yeah, it's weird. I think that actually comes to there. But it's kind of blended into the background. So the head sort of comes up like that. And then we got this, I'm calling that a head, I'm not sure if it is. But it's kind of a head shape and it's got a snout area and what might be an eye there. And a weird sort of snout area and a sort of ear. That looks a bit like an ear. And then a body and a weird kind of foot sticking out there. But it's hanging a bit like one of those mechanical toys, like those little monkeys you used to get back in the 70s or 80s, which would kind of flip up and down and do like little acrobatic tricks. Like this may have flipped around. I mean, it's insane. It's absolutely crazy because this looks like part of an object, like a car or some kind of mechanical object. Who knows what it is? But we have these weird little details inside here, right? Use the hover zoom magnifier. You can get it for any browser. It's free. You can see that eye-like thing and a head-like thing and a body-shaped thing with an arm coming up, which is joined to this larger object here, which has got a straight edge there and a straight edge here, and these overlapping parts which look like material wrapped around it or something, who knows. Very, very strange. And there's that little dude, or whatever it is, in there with a sort of part coming over, which looks a bit like a little figurine inside. Absolutely incredible. Now, what this may be is actually an elaborate burial casket or something like that, like a sarcophagus, a very strange one, with a weird thing hanging on the end. Who knows what it is? But this, I think, to me, these overlapping parts looks a bit like a burial shroud that's been wrapped around an object, almost. Like the Egyptians used to have, where they would have burial shrouds wrapped around them and then have a body inside like this. This could be a body, that could be a head there, I don't know. It's really, really strange. and is one of the weirdest things I've ever found on Mars. Absolutely insane. I mean, I've found things like this, like bits of wreckage before, but to have something hanging off like that with these little bolts coming through, you've got these black things here, these are like little bolts holding it together. This is mechanical. I mean, if this was in working order, you could probably spin that around or something, it would probably spin, who knows. So it could be a machine, it could be almost anything like that, but it's definitely mechanical. It has mechanical parts, but also very strange overlapping material here. So answers on a postcard with that one, and this one is super weird. Absolutely crazy. Once you figure out that that's a head there, and a sort of arm, a shoulder and an arm, with these kind of weird mechanical looking limbs joined to this object here, with another weird thing kind of joined on the end, at the bottom here. It's absolutely crazy. So these could be part of some elaborate burial or something, I really don't know. And a lot of the rocks in this area really look like bits of concrete and weird things all mashed up together, like bits of concrete and mud and objects all kind of stuck together and then dried out and hardened, okay? Encrusted, mineralized, and then baked in the sun, okay? So they're kind of sort of fossilized objects, mineralized objects, right? And they're highly complex, some of them. And some of them like animals, but this one looks kind of mechanical, as does this one. I mean, this is astonishing. Absolutely crazy. What I'll do, I'll flip it to negative. And you can see that, those bolts there, here and here. And the arm sort of comes down like that. There's another, what seems to be a bolt there, where it sort of joins onto this part here. And actually the whole thing, what I'll do is I might redo this and take my logo off, because that's obscuring part of it, because that seems to come up to there, like that. There seems to be a mouth there, an eye here, and another one there. But I could be wrong, this just may be some weird mechanical thing, and it's all kind of broken off, so it may just happen to look a bit like an animal shape. But you can see those parts. You can see those kind of arms coming down. And there's that little figurine in there. Whatever that is. I mean, it's hard to say. This is encrusted in clay that's hard and baked. And we've got obviously different types of material here, like metal perhaps. And it's all kind of ruined and ripped up and broken and eroded. So, you know, it's hard to say exactly what we're looking at. But one thing is for sure, these are not just rocks. That is not a rock. You can clearly see overlapping material and spiky kind of parts and weird details, mechanical arms hanging down. And this thing is just unbelievable. Like a sort of alien biomechanical fossil, like a techno fossil. Okay? Absolutely insane, with mechanical parts which overlap with like pins and joints and stuff. I mean, what the hell is this stuff? Were they experimenting with biomechanics? Hybrids with kind of mechanical limbs and stuff? I mean, what the hell was going on here? Were these sort of androids? Android creatures or something? Unbelievable. I mean, it doesn't conform to any sort of natural looking arm, this thing here, because you've got this bolt just there and it's jointed and there's all kind of overlapping kind of parts to it here. All right, highly complex material going on here, and I don't fully understand it, but there seems to be another one just behind it here as well. There's something very weird going on there, and it's all kind of stuck in there, who knows. So that's just 3 things in this area. I'm sure there are a lot more in here that I haven't pointed out. There's absolutely loads of detail in here and some really crazy looking stuff. This looks like the remains of another room up here. You can see a rectangular shape there, okay? So this whole part of the mountain here, near the burial chambers, which are just over here, is littered with goodies, okay? So check it out. Follow the links in the description below, as usual. I always provide links, and as I've said before, if you see any channels that do not provide links or image information, and they don't even give it to you when you ask for it, then they're probably fake or bogus, okay? So beware of that. There's a handful of channels that are doing these videos which are completely bogus, and they're just getting weird objects from Earth and they're just grafting them onto the image, which is total fraud. There's that thing, you can see it there, the mechanical object with arms hanging off the end. What the hell is this stuff? I mean, I like puzzles and I like working out mysteries, but this is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen on Mars. It's absolutely crazy. And that does look a bit like a head there, inside there, like a body. Is this some kind of weird burial kind of contraption? A vehicle? What is it? And this thing's got these like weird parts to it overlapping. Absolutely insane. And when you use the magnifier, you can see those pins and joints. Unbelievable. Okay, so thanks for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe. Smash that like button. I will see you soon.